This looks how my great-grandpa smells. And that's the vibe I was going for. So, you want to see the print studio? Screen printing and printing this way is as advanced as it will ever be. So, I'm trying really, really hard to perfect a technology that is super outdated. I love the fact that you can take a unique original piece of art and instead of trying to convince one person to buy one painting, you can print an edition of 100 and give that to 100 people. It's also different from printing something out digitally and being able to make 1 million copies. So it sort of blends these two worlds of exclusivity and availability. You're registering everything by hand, and yes, it's the same design, but there's so many variables and there's so many things that can go wrong in this process that every print does turn out unique. Not only was the design made by the artist, but the print that you hold in your hands, the ink that you can feel with your hands, was also made by the artist. So you have the creation start to finish in your hands, in your home, on your wall. You don't get that with a cool phone background that you found on Tumblr. You don't. When these go home to hang on walls, you can touch it and you can say, "Whoa, that was in that was in the studio. That was in some dude's basement." And he, his hands touched it and he pulled it. When I was thinking about this project, I was thinking about what is the most basic example of the benefit of taking your time on something. I was a Boy Scout when I was younger. I really, really enjoyed it. I really loved camping and I really loved familiarizing myself with the outdoors. They taught us how to build a fire. If you take the time to gather your fuel before you even light it, and you organize it and build it and construct it, and all the work you do up front will pay off into this gorgeous flame. And so for this design, I decided to include a flame just as in sort of a merit badge shape. That's a good example of you take your time to build something and construct it and pay attention to how you're building it. That you'll keep yourself warm. You'll be able to provide something for other people. And then I was looking up hand painted signs. Not too long ago, you opened up a storefront. You had to paint your own sign. You had to paint it well. You couldn't just whip something up in an afternoon. You had to plan it out. You had to figure out what was going to look good. You had to draw it out and then paint it and then stencil it and all that stuff. And with this design, I wanted to pay homage to all these beautiful hand-built typefaces that would find themselves on gun safes and banks and jewelry stores and all of these, like a jacket store or some clothing company. To forget the painstaking hours that other people logged so that it could be easy for us would be a shame. I consider it a discipline to not only pay homage to the design and the art of old times, but to also produce it in such a way that forces me to take my time, such as screen printing. I think that if somebody can practice being humble, and if somebody can practice their ability to appreciate something, that can only have good effects on your work.